Hello, YouTube. Let's see if my phone cuts out. I'll bet it does. I'll bet this winds up being 2 videos. That's never intentional. Today's video is, as I mentioned last time, what is an atheist and how does one get there? I realize these are offensive to a lot of people. I was once a Christian. Now some people might say once a Christian, always a Christian. Well, the Bible actually gives us a test. It says in there that true Christians will pick up serpents, lay their hands on the sick and heal them, and be able to drink poison, for it shall not hurt them. So if you want to prove that you're a true Christian, get after it. I'm not drinking poison. Having said that, I would like to promise you that my next video will have some comedy and some more fun stuff and some more motivational type stuff. This is part of Chris's journey. A big part of my life was taken, for lack of a better word, from religion. I have a certain bit of hostility towards it. But today, I'm making a video on what is an atheist, how does one get to be one, and I'd like to note that if the truth makes you uncomfortable, then blame the lie. Don't blame the truth for making you uncomfortable. Blame the lie that's making the truth make you uncomfortable. Okay, it's not my fault. It's not my fault at all. I'm entitled to my opinion, if you wanted to call it an opinion. But today I'm going to be using this to make my point. This is my King James Version Bible that I've had for a very long time. The best defense against the Bible is the Bible. So if we're going to start off with what is an atheist and how do you get to be one? Well, an atheist is not a belief system. It's not a religion, even though some preachers would like you to think that. It's actually the absence of a religion or a belief system. If I opened my 2-car garage doors go up, and there was nothing in there, would you ask me, well, what year are those Camaros? Those are really nice Camaros you got there. What year are those? Or would you see nothing? That's more accurately a description of atheism. It's the lack of something. It's the absence of something. Atheism isn't a religion or belief system any more than bald-headed is a haircut. Okay, it's the absence of hair, not a haircut. So, to clear that up, one way to become an atheist is to be born into this world, because the definition of atheist is literally does not worship a divine deity or God. Okay, so being as how human babies, they're going to worship whatever their parents teach them at some point. They're technically atheists. Also, if you're a Christian or a Muslim or any other like tribes worshiping rocks or spirits that they choose to worship, if you don't worship but one God, you're also an atheist, because mankind has created over 5,000 gods throughout the history of mankind, many of which, hundreds of which, are worshipped today. So if you're only worshiping one, let's call it 300. Let's say there's 300 different gods being worshipped today. You worship one of them, and you don't worship 299 of them. So you're an atheist. I've taken my atheism one God further. Okay, I worship no God. So that's what an atheist is and isn't. Let's make sure I'm on par here. So if you want to know another way to become one, asking questions. Ask a buttload of questions, because they are the destroyer of religion. Your preacher don't have the answers, man. He doesn't. Go ask him a bunch of good questions, and you will notice that you will get a relatively large amount of stupid answers. That's part of how I got here. Now I'm going to try to be as nice as I can. I'm focusing on one topic today, which is the most gentle topic I could be, that I could choose from this book. This book contains many things that, many things that would make your head explode if I was to reveal them in the form of how it's actually meant to revealed. The way religion is teached, Christianity particularly, is preached today, they would have cut your head off only 300 years ago. It would not have been tolerated. It's a form of evolution. You picked what you liked and you discarded what didn't help you. This is how the Bible has survived for so long. If anyone has ever asked that question as if there was no good answer for that question, well, the answer is it's evolved. Funny enough. So you would ask a bunch of questions, and you would research multiple sources. And if you're going to pull up a source that's Christians.com, you probably want to pull up a source that's also a separate source. You're not just going to want to take their word for it. It's like asking the ancient alien guy, hey, are aliens real? I mean, they have 200-300 episodes where aliens are always real, okay? There is no alternative option for them. It's real. They're always going to tell you it's real, and they're going to do mental gymnastics and force you to do it along with them to maintain that preconceived assumption. Okay? So look at multiple sources, all the sources, and study all the different answers and reach a conclusion. Because if you agree a fact is a fact, then you must agree you need all the facts, not just the ones that suit you and your preconceived ideas. If a fact is a fact, you can't just flick out the ones that you don't like. You need all of them. Okay? So ask questions, study, be careful with your sources, or use multiple sources from multiple angles, multiple people. This is how you can reach a reasonable, rational answer. Okay? So that's how I became an atheist. I started out with a little bit of doubt, and I thought, well, this is kind of freaky. It was horrifying, to be honest. It was horrifying at first. I wasn't an atheist at this point. I was a Christian, and I had like some doubt gathering. So I started digging, and I dug and I dug and I dug, and I still dig today for about 15 years now. And the pile of doubt has grown into a mountain of doubt to the point where I have no doubt that I'm right. And the pile that made me think there was something to this has gone nowhere. I have found nothing to support my old beliefs. It is what it is, and you stay stationary and you don't keep adding to it, well, you're going to stay stuck there. And that's what I was doing too, until I actually chose to dig in and start questioning, looking, digging. And you can use this. If you read this cover to cover, page for page, word for word, read it, analyze it, study it, think about it, rationalize it. If you're still a Christian, good on you, brother. Good on you. Because, like I said, I'm going to be as gentle as I can. This is not great, okay? There's not much great about it. There's a saying that goes, I'm not going to say it. I'm trying to be nice. So today, the topic I have chosen from this book, not a science book, I'm going to use the King James Version Bible. I'm going to be as easy as I can. I've chosen here's Jesus. This is a recreated painting by a man they called Michelangelo, I think, the Michelangelo of the Bible. So it's a recreation of an ancient painting from an ancient Bible, the date of which they don't know, as far as I know. But it's a beautiful painting, and I really like it. But if you look, you see what Jesus is doing there, and you can see the sun and the moon, and how they're not going around a sphere, but they're circling the top of a disc, a coin-shaped disc. And you could never build a sphere with that utensil in his hand. This is simply to tell you this is what the ancients believed. I actually love this painting. I actually still have a connection to the religion and to Jesus himself. It's simply not the original one, the one that's taught, the one that's more commonly believed. Will spare you my beliefs on this man, but I will tell you, I love this man. And I think that if he was actually a man, actually married to Mary Magdalene, he would want you to know that. And there's plenty of reasons to believe this. Maybe some other day we'll get to that. But this hangs on my wall. This is a part of my life. So today we're doing flat Earth. This is a model. Forgive me, it's blurry. I went to the library. I did my best. It's blurry. But this is the exact same flat Earth model that all ancient civilizations believed in. All of them. There were some philosophers that had ideas that the Earth was spherical, but it was not commonly accepted. Those were kooky people back then. So this is what every ancient culture believed. You've got water above, water below, the Earth, a coin-shaped flat disc resting on pillars with, I forget what they call that, the underworld, the heavens, which is this glass dome over the top of the Earth. You've got your stars that are embedded inside the glass dome. That's the stars we see at night. And you've got the sun and the moon, which I cannot find right now. He's in there. The sun and the moon, which the way the ancients thought was that the Earth sat flat down like this, and the sun and the moon, well, they rotated like this. And this is how day and night happened. This is how the sun left your view while the moon was there, and they believed it did this, and this made your days and nights. Kind of like taking a flashlight and shining it down on a hubcap and just simply lighting up part of it as it goes around and around. Every ancient culture believed this exact same thing. This is the same shared model as all ancient men believed before science corrected it. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to use this book, which vividly describes this model in great detail. And I'm going to read passages to support that this book is a flat Earth book through and through. I used almost the entire book, if you can see there. I'm also going to note that there are many passages and verses that I chose not to use. There's hundreds. I believe we'll get to the exact number later. There's hundreds of them in here. I simply chose one or two for this, one or two for that, the ones that I felt would get the job done efficiently and quickly, accurately. Okay, so we're going to start at the top, which is water above, and we're going to work our way below, except for the first part where I'm going to start is actually going to take care of the waters above, waters below, right off the bat. So we're going to start here with waters above, waters below. We're going to move to the firmament. We're going to move to the sun and the stars and the moon. And we're going to move to the shape of the Earth itself. We're going to have a couple of different ones that describe it the way it needs to be described. But it fits this model. And I've only chosen a few, a very select few. So let's get started. I'm going to prop this up with my Crayola box and my Canada Dry take to work box, because that's how I roll, dog. So a lot of people have described this book as the most scientifically accurate book ever written. This thing is demonstrably false. Like I said, I'm only going to pick one. We're going to accidentally pass over one more scientifically inaccurate thing, in which I am going to point out why we're there, because it just so happens to be in the verses that I've chosen. So this is not a scientifically accurate book, and it's not going to be hard to figure that out, because where I'm going to start to show you the waters above and waters below is, you guessed it, at the absolute very first paragraph in this book, Genesis, the creation story, right? The very first sentence in the book, scientifically inaccurate. Flat Earth. Okay? So let's go. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the evening and the morning were the first day, and then God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst." In the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Thus God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. When you hear the word heaven, you're actually hearing a glass dome, a see-through glass dome. A word derived, let's see, I have the definition here. Firmament. I know it's here. The literal Latin original meaning of firmament. What have I done with it? It means glass bowl. Dang it, I can't find it here. But it means glass bowl in Latin, the original language, which for some reason it was written in several dead languages. Another bad choice that he made. Back when it was written, he could have sent Jesus to China, and we would have had one language that they still use today. We would have understood the book completely. There wouldn't be any of this, oh, it was a mistranslation through the worst game of telephone ever played. It would be written in Chinese and read today in the same language. Sorry about that. Let's continue. So we've gone over the waters above, waters below. Same ancient model that all ancient cultures believed in. Now we're going to get to the sun and the moon, which I cannot see, and the stars, which is that there. Now you'll notice here, for some reason, you see scientists now understand that the sun is a star. Yet in this book, written by the creator of the universe, they're two different things. Okay, the sun's not a star. They're two different things. Right? Then God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons, and for the days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth." And it was so. There's your stars embedded in the glass dome that's over the earth. Then God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule over the day, and the lesser light to rule over the night. He made the stars also. Weird, huh? So what we're seeing here is scientific inaccuracy. Big time. Another thing I could point out was that he already said, "Let there be light." But there was no sun until day number 2. Here, if you keep going here, you'll see that the plants were invented in between here. The plants came in the second day. I believe I'm on day 3 here. So the plants went a full 24 hours with no sunlight. That's just a weird one. Not the best argument ever, but it makes you think. Why would he do that? All right, so here's another one that supports the idea of a firmament. I'm still on page 1. I'm not even halfway through the page 1. This is the first couple of paragraphs. So we're going to see in this one that he mentions that birds fly between the earth and the firmament. And I'm also going to point out that if you keep going here, which I guess I've marked it where I might actually read this. But what you'll notice here is that the cattle and stuff like this is kind of brought in after birds were in the air. But that's not the correct scientific order. Of course, life started in the water, moved on to land, became evolved, diversified, became many different species, fitting many different niches. And birds were one of the last to evolve. You had to be a watery guy before you were a land guy, before you were a fly guy. Also, it mentions all winged birds, which kind of makes you wonder, what about the bats? Probably thought they were birds too, but they're mammals, right? If it works for one species, it can work for another. So let me read about the birds flying in between the circle, I think it might say. But anyway, you'll see it flies in this area, inside the dome. Then God said, "Let the waters around with an abundance of living creatures, and let the birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmament of the heavens." So God created the great sea creatures and every living thing that moves, with which the waters abundant according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." So the evening and the morning were the 5th day. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures according to its kind, cattle and creeping things, and beasts of the earth, each according to its kind." And it was so. Simply another scientific inaccuracy. That's not how life got here. It's in the wrong order. Okay? It's not my fault I didn't write the book. Don't hate me for it. If the truth makes you uncomfortable, don't blame the truth. Blame the lie. Okay? So now we're going to move on. And I don't remember what we're moving on to, so just let me flip through here. All right, so this is where we are. And that's what I need to read. All right, so this describes a a round circular disc with edges in which you can fall off of, and also describes the shape of the earth, right? So listen up. This is Job. This is where God is asking Job, are you the one who created this? Did you do this, or did I do this? And this is where I have to start, so just to catch you up at what this is. "Have you commanded the morning since your days began, and caused the dawn to know its place, that it might hold off the ends of the earth, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, and the wicked be shaken off of it? It takes on form like clay under a seal." So what you're hearing there, which I think in certain versions and stands out like a garment. So do you know the old envelopes where they would drop clay onto it and they would press it with a garment and seal the envelope? That's what you've just heard. You've heard earth described as clay mashed under a garment, and its mountains stand up like the folds of the garment. You've just heard earth described as a flat disc. Just like you see here, just like every ancient culture believed. Moving on. Now I think we jump all the way to the back. Yeah, that's right. I did these tallest to shortest. Okay, so we jump straight to here. And what we have here is, I believe, just a continuance, a simple continuance of the earth is a circle. So the heavens, or circle of earth, this is a part where God's telling you that, he resides in heaven, which literally means to stand on top of this in the cosmic waters or spiritual waters that surround the earth. It is he who sits above the circle of the earth. Circle. And its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. So you've just heard a description of the firmament being stretched out like a tent for us to dwell in like grasshoppers. That's what you've heard. And one argument might be that, they don't have a word for sphere, but they do. And that's what this is. He will surely turn violently and toss you like a ball. So if they wanted to describe it as a ball or a sphere, they had that word in the original language. I might be running out of time here. I'm going to be ticked off. And the pillars of the earth. The earth and all its inhabitants are discovered. I will set up its pillars firmly. It says this over and over and over and over and over again, that the earth does not move. Yet we know the earth now is spinning at almost 1,000 miles per hour, and it, along with the sun,